Hey guys, welcome back and double up on a live today. But how's it going, everybody? Welcome back. I know it's pretty late, so some of you guys probably already asleep. I apologize if so. And excuse me. Hopefully you guys catch a replay. If you guys do catch a replay, hashtag nerd up so I know that you guys leveled up. And yeah, so big shout out to the channel members. I do want to give you guys recognition, letting you guys know that I appreciate you guys for being a member of the channel. And hopefully you guys did check out the perks you guys get. They're they're going into effect. So if you are a member of the channel, comment below that you guys did see the new perks for being a member. That way I know that you guys are golden and you guys are ready for this. Alongside that, like I said before, some of the stuff that I do isn't is frowned upon or is not sometimes not advertiser friendly. So yes, if you guys do want to support the channel, there is the source to do so. Yeah, it really does help out a lot. But on top of that, the major way you guys can actually help the channel is just by smashing the like button. That really helps circulate these live streams and videos that I post. So definitely, Ismael, welcome in. Really appreciate you for coming in. Before I kick it off, and we're going to talk about the Pixel 5a here briefly for a little bit. It's kind of interesting. So welcome. Let's see. I've been missing the stream due to work. No problem, man. I mean, you watch replays, dude. It's all good. It's all good. I do them live, so I have live engagement, but also, it's there to watch afterwards. And I know the live streams are pretty long. So I don't expect everyone to watch them all completely through. It'd be nice. It would be. Hold on, let me get this off my head, man. It just seems weird. I have the headphones and everything like that. So, but live streams are long, and I don't expect everyone to watch them all the way through. So, yeah, well, using a Metro by T-Mobile hotspot again to live stream this. Good on it. So therefore, yeah, got some stuff to talk about with the Pixel 5a. I mean, you guys know me. I am a Pixel fan. I'm a fan of the Google Pixels. Always have, always will be. Just like there's those who are diehard iPhone fans or diehard Apple fans. I am a diehard Pixel fan. I advocate for them. But I'll make it clear though, because in the past I was like, I don't know, I had it in my head that if I push hard enough, whatever, I'll be able to join Team Pixel one day. And I think that ambition has kind of the ship has sailed. It's not something that is like a goal, you know what I mean? I mean, I really didn't have it as a goal that I had to be a part of Team Pixel, but it was something that I was just like, hey, you know what? I like Google Pixels. I use them. Why not let me advocate for you guys? Just like some of the other guys. I mean, there was a whole spiel about it. But anyways, I just want to make that clear. So any Google Pixel device from this on forward, it's not going to be from Team Pixel. And I have literally I didn't give up on it, but I just literally, it's just not something that is the most important thing or something like that. I don't know. That sounds weird when I'm saying it. But anyways, let's talk Google Pixel 5a. This is going to be interesting. So I waited a little bit of time because as soon as things leaked about the Google Pixel 5a, a lot of people took to YouTube and went ahead and just started giving their thoughts. And I wanted to take a little bit of time to kind of analyze what I'm understanding of the Google Pixel 5a. So without further ado, this comes from the website Tom's Guide. So I will, as you guys know, pop the link in the chat so that way people can actually click on it and review it as well, or bookmark it to read later. What I mean, for whatever you're doing, if you're on the shitter or anything like that, you can just healthy reading. That sounds so dorky. Wonder how much that the Pixel 5a would cost. I'd be down to get it if it's under $400. What we're going to see here, we're going to analyze. So a lot of this stuff was compiled by Tom's Guide. So that's where we're going to kind of go on it. Now, this is not set in stone. I want to let people know that these things that we read from Tom's Guide or from Android Authority or from every different publication doesn't mean that this is exactly what it's going to be. There's a 50-50 odd chance that they're completely right or wrong. So we will only know. Like, nothing is for sure until the day it releases. But anyways, this article was written about 5 days ago from Philip Michaels. So shout out to Philip Michaels at Tom's Guide. And it's basically the Google Pixel 5a release date, price, specs, and leaks. So things that they've compiled after scouring the Webernet for all this stuff. So it kind of just goes into the spill of everything, that there's been no official announcement that Google has a Pixel 5 in the works, but it's a safe bet that the company has another budget phone on the way. Google's last effort, the Pixel 4a, impressed with its top performing camera and sub $400 price. In fact, it's been at the top of the best cheap phones list. And yeah, I have to agree with them on that. That is probably one of the best sub $400 Android devices that you could get for 2020. Namely, probably top phone or top dog for 2020, in my humble opinion. See, Mike says, but I doubt it, since it will probably only be a 5G phone. Well, I mean, a lot of phones are moving towards 5G. I don't think that's going to really negate the pricing, because you also have to think the OnePlus Nord N10 5G came out. That was $299. So I don't think that just because it has a different a different chipset with a different modem isn't going to raise the price dramatically. I don't think they will. As a matter of fact, it's actually proven, because the Pixel 5, a lot of people were upset with the corners that Google cut to make the Pixel 5, sub $800. And yeah, so I mean, they were able to do it. So yeah, it's pricing is something that I would say, it's a make or break for this. We shall see. But anyway, so it goes on to say, as successful as the low-cost Pixels have been, Google faces some serious competition from other phone makers who have found value in producing value-priced models of their own. Just last year, Apple revived the iPhone SE, while OnePlus now offers a Nord product lineup that packs in some high-end features into low-cost phones. Motorola has already launched 3 Moto G series phones this year, all which cost less than $300. So in this article, they kind of go on the Pixel 5a release date. Google has a little bit of a backtrack record when it releases its budget Pixel models, though the onset of the coronavirus pandemic threw a wrench into the phone maker's usual schedule. In 2019, the Pixel 3a debuted at Google Developer Conference, let's just call it Google I/O. Google I/O 2019 is when it debuted. Traditionally held each May. The Pixel 4a was expected to appear at the 2020 conference, but the event was canceled in the wake of the pandemic concerns about large public gathering. But instead, the 4a arrived in August. It's unclear if that lengthy delay was due to production issues or just Google trying to time the release of the phone for when more people were ready to shop. So we'll kind of just go on it. So they're actually thinking of spring 2021. So they're kind of still going with like Google I/O. Pixel 5a pricing. The 5a's potential price is another area where the rumor mill has been mum so far. But price figures to be a major focus for this phone, not only because of the stepped up competition, but because the Pixel 4a's low cost was one of the handset's biggest selling points. So that's one of the things that just kind of like pause there with a little bit of what they're talking about. Oh, wow. Let me catch up with these comments. Prince in India. Welcome. Variant and price. So it's probably still just going to be one variant. I don't think that it's going to be anything a middle, like a normal size and XL model. I don't think they're going to do that with the Pixel 5a. I feel like in the States it will go up in price, but that's just my opinion. We see things go up. Everyone knows that the Pixel 5 was way overpriced. I wouldn't say it's way overpriced for what you're getting out of the Pixel 5. I don't rely on the whole thing of looking at the processing chip to say that determines what the price should be. The fact that it had a 765G to me doesn't mean that the phone should be $400. You know what I mean? I would love and advocate for the Pixel 5 to be a lower price, of course, because I'm a consumer. You know, I'm not here to help the companies make money. I'm here to get the best prices. So yes, but realistically, from a manufacturer standpoint, playing devil's advocate here, I see where they're going with it. It's not the best pricing at $699, but I felt like Google would have shot themselves in the foot really, really, really bad if they had priced the Pixel 5 the same as the 4 and the 3 at $799. That would have been bad. Release date, probably May 2021. If they're going to continue releasing the budget during spring and then their flagship in fall, that's where I would see it at. Now, if they're gonna like go with the Pixel 4a's launch, which was in August, and they're gonna continue that trend and have like the 5A release in August and then the 6 release in October, which is 2 months apart, that could work out in favor for them too as well. Going to be fire, I'm not sure if it will be for me. I really want the next Sony device. I mean, you go with what you feel like, you know, what's worth your money. I don't believe in people, you know, sticking or like following trends. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to be a trendsetter, like, and say like, okay, you know, I like Google Pixel, so you all should like them too. Like, that's not. I would never put that kind of unfair pressure on anybody. You know, I just figured that, you know, there's a lot of people who like follow me because they know that I like Google Pixels. And so they trust me on whatever information that I find or, you know, whatever opinions I may have. And I appreciate everybody for that. But here's the thing. So with the Pixel 5a pricing that Tom's Guide is kind of leaning in towards, so they don't have any definitive price amount. And we're not going to see that yet until possibly close to when they decide to release this thing. Same way that they did with the Pixel 4a. They were very hush-hush on the Pixel 4a until like 2 weeks before they were going to launch it. And then they launched it on August 3rd in a 30-second ad. Very clear and easy. And then it actually pre-order shipped out on the 26th of August. Everyone started getting their pre-orders around then. So, but one of the things that propelled the Pixel 4a, and here's the thing that people are kind of overlooking here. The Pixel 4a launched. Everybody knew that the Pixel 5 was going to be 5G capable. Regardless if it had a Snapdragon X52 modem or X55 modem, we knew it was going to be 5G capable. And 5G was something that a lot of people were talking about. My friends Sneed and Carlos and, you know, Zero Cool and just all the guys from SMT, they talk about 5G all the time, just about. They speed test it. They try it out. They talk about it. They talk about upgrades. They talk about low band 5G or sub 6 gigahertz 5G. They talk about millimeter wave, ultra wideband. So those are some of the things that my friends talk about, right? So 5G obviously is out there. A lot of people are very interested in 5G, right? Now you're talking about the Pixel 4a that needed to compete with 5G devices coming out. And it's not just only like the Google Pixel 5 and the Google Pixel 4a 5G, but you also got to think about like the Samsung Galaxy A51. You got to think about the Samsung Galaxy S20 Fan Edition. You got to think about those phones that were 5G capable, and then the Pixel 4a, which to surprise everybody, did and sold very, very well, even though it was not 5G capable. It sold very well. It got good praises from a lot of people who unboxed it, used it. And I mean, really used it. You can tell the difference between YouTubers who say they use it, like, oh, this is my daily driver. And, you know, as soon as the camera cuts off, it's like, give me back my iPhone 12. You know, like, you don't know the difference. You can just tell when people are genuinely actually using these phones. And those that use the phones, 5G wasn't even a problem. So Google really kind of tested that and kind of proved in theory that they can, as long as the phone is at a good price point, people will be okay with it. At $349 for the Pixel 4a, $50 less than the iPhone SE 2020, no 5G. So using a Snapdragon 730G chip in it, not 5G capable, was able to even be to, in a way, outclass, other devices that were released that people would say, oh, this is why this is better than the Google Pixel 4a, the yada yada yada. The pricing is really where it's at. So if Google decides to set this pricing right again, they will make a killing. So let's see. Before I go back into this, I apologize if you guys hear my kids. Yeah, it's when you have kids. What can I say? So, thanks for good information. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for joining me tonight for a little bit. Appreciate that. Most people don't care about 5G. It's a hit or miss, Ismael. It's a hit or miss. There are in fact people who are just completely on 5G. Like they gotta have it, because it's the latest thing, right? Remember when everyone was all about the latest and greatest? It didn't matter. As long as they had the latest and greatest, they had to have it. So you have people that's like that. And don't get me wrong, 5G is actually important. There's a lot of good that's going to come from having 5G. Trust me on that. But it's not something that I say that you have to have now. You don't. You don't have to have a 5G capable phone right now. It would be a good idea to start thinking and even upgrading to a 5G capable phone, because there's going to be like the advancements in ultra wideband technology, the advancements in what's it? Gosh, there's like I catch so much information from Sneed, so it's just like I'm like bouncing through like my internal Rolodex of information that I get from them. But literally, they, it's gonna be worth your time to even upgrading to one. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have it, So it's like I'm kind of like teetering back and forth, because while I am advocating that, upgrading to a 5G phone is going to be good, especially now as like T-Mobile's 5G is getting better, Verizon's is like insanely fast, AT&T is like making good strides, so it's getting there, probably more rapidly than how LTE even advanced. It's getting there pretty quickly. So, but you don't have to have it right now. Like LTE is not going to be obsolete. It's actually going to be a little bit more faster, because the more people are connected to standalone 5G, bands, the more the LTE capacity and everything is alleviated. So you guys get the point. But anyways, let's see. I know Pixel 5a, $333. No, I don't think so. This is the first time I passed on a Pixel. Pixel 5 wasn't for me, and 5a is not either. I'm just waiting for the 6 XL. Yeah, it's kind of cool that Google is bringing back the XL model for the 6. And I think, so the 5a, well, I mean, I'll get to that at the end. But the fact that they're bringing the 6, is either the 6 and the 6 XL, to me, I mean, it's a great idea for them to do two different models, because some people prefer big phones, some people prefer smaller phones. But the reason for me that the 6 is going to be the one that I the most than the 5a, like I'll eventually get a 5a, but I won't get it on release date. But the 6, I'm going to really try my hardest to get it on release date, is because the 6 will actually have Google's own processing chip in the phone. So there's no more depending on Qualcomm and their Snapdragon series chips anymore. Google's making them in-house the same way that Apple makes theirs in-house with the A Bionic series. Let's see, $700 at this point is probably considered mid-range. I mean, yeah, in the pricing, shocker if you guys remember how much flagships cost. Let's say 8 years ago, flagship phones were like $500. Like the top tier flagships were like $500. That's crazy. Anyways, getting back into the pricing here. So they talked about the Pixel 4a and how it debuted with the $349 price tag. That was $50 cheaper than the iPhone SE. They also talked about the OnePlus Nord, being available for $299. So, they really think that Google is going to repeat. They're going to repeat what they did with the Pixel 4a. They're talking about, the Pixel 4a 5G and how that costed $150 more than the Pixel 4a just because it had 5G, just because they had the Snapdragon 765G chip with the Snapdragon X52 modem. They feel like that, they may think that it is actually comparable to what the 5a would be. And I don't know, to me, if it crosses $400, in my humble opinion, because the way I look at it is how many 5G capable devices are out there at a sub $400 price. And you're going to bring out your budget device. Why would you exceed $400 as a price tag? That's not competitive in the realm that you are fighting in. And quite frankly, the A series from Google Pixels actually is dominant in the budget range right now. If they do over $400 for the 5A, they would completely unseat themselves from the throne of the budget realm, and either OnePlus or Motorola is going to snag that throne. That's my analysis on it, in my opinion. The design, we don't have to go too much with the design because the design is going to be the same. Slightly, I mean, it may have two cameras as they're saying that it would. So here are some of the, based on the 5A leaks, apparently a 6.2-inch OLED display with full HD resolution. The size of it, I guess 6.1 by 2.9 by 0.3 inches is the dimensions of the device. And it just talks about one device. So there wouldn't be like a 5A XL. It's just going to be like a Pixel 5A. And then, of course, the Pixel 6 and the 6 XL release. So it'll still be 3 pixels released just to kind of like flip the roles around a little bit. So this says here, while some may be disappointed that Google is making a few changes from the last year's phones, not surprised that the Pixel 5a would share so much in common with its immediate predecessors. And yeah, we're going to get to that at the end of this real quick, kind of get through this. So let's kind of just cover the cameras real quick, see if there's anything that's different. Did it get away from the Sony IMX 363 sensors, or is it the same ones? Could possibly be the same ones here because it says in essence, that means that the Pixel 5a will be adopting the Pixel 5's rear camera module, which features a 12.2 megapixel sensor as the main sensor and a 16 megapixel ultra wide angle sensor. So the main sensor could be an IMX 363. And if it is, I'm going to be pissed because they got to get away from that camera sensor and use a much newer one. Now, if they do use a much newer one, that's going to be pretty cool. See, was that confirmed or was it just a rumor right now? In-house chipset. That's confirmed. Project Whitechapel, that is Google working on their own processing chip. And on top of that, they're also working on the foldable Pixel. And all this comes in with them working alongside with Samsung. So Samsung actually has been showing Google like how to build their own processing chip because, you know, Samsung does have their own chip, the Exynos chip. That's Samsung. That's in-house built. And then on top of that, they're also giving Google access to their foldable display panels because Google worked hand in hand with Samsung. They made Android well optimized for a foldable display, right? So while Samsung put out the Galaxy Fold, the Galaxy Fold wouldn't be as good as it is if it didn't have Android backing it by basically being optimized and, you know, having specific features put in place to adopt foldable displays. So yes, it is confirmed. Google Pixel 6 will have its own in-house machined processing chips. They are no longer doing Qualcomm. Any news on Google Fold this year, other than the fact that it's going to come this year? They've been working alongside Samsung with the processing chip. They are also working on them with a foldable Pixel. So you guys can expect that. But yeah, as far as camera sensors, it's just going to be the Pixel 5. So I'm trying to get to this because there is some things I got to say that's going to be a little bit of like a Donnie Downer, but it's also reality of things. So then they talk about the Pixel 5a performance and 5G and battery, right? So, the 4a had the Snapdragon 730G. We know that they're not going to have the Snapdragon 765G in the Pixel 5a. That would make absolutely no sense. Qualcomm has since introduced the Snapdragon 732 as a follow-up to the chip and promises CPU and faster clock speeds, as well as GPU with a 15% boost in graphics and rendering over the 730G. So this more than likely will have the Snapdragon 732. Why would the 5a have the 732 and not Google's own in-house machine chip? Basically, they're going to debut their own personal chip with their flagship phone. So who knows? Maybe the Pixel 6a will have Google's own processing chips going on forward, but the 5a will probably be the last one using a Snapdragon series chip. So they talk about 5G compatibility. It doesn't say which modem the 732G has, but I can just look that up on Qualcomm's website. find out which modem, because it is 5G capable. So that's the thing here. No, so they follow up with this whole spiel of this article talking about what they want out of it, and one of the first things that pops up is a low price with 5G. So they found a sweet spot with the 4A. It's $349 price. They're hoping that it kind of stays to that price. They want a faster refresh rate on the display, so they want it bumped up to 90 hertz minimum, since it's rumored that the 6 would have 120 hertz, but that's rumored. That's not confirmed. And then they want to have good battery life. So here's my thing on all this. Okay. Here's the problem that I have. I mean, don't get me wrong. A Pixel 5a makes sense. In the works, it makes sense. It makes sense. The problem that I have with the Pixel 5a is that a lot of it is an adoption of the Pixel 5. So like the same camera sensor module, because it's going to have, it's going to have a regular main camera sensor and an ultra wide camera sensor, right? So this is my Pixel 4a right here. And it only has one camera sensor in the back. It does not have multiple or anything like that. So of course, that kind of brings it to what the Pixel 5 has. And, the only difference that I'm seeing here is, of course, one, no talks of it being water resistant to a degree, dust resistant or anything like that. So we can assume that it's not going to have an IP rating. Snapdragon 732 processing. The Snapdragon 732. I don't know if they call it 732G or if it's just 732, but that's going to be the processing chip inside of it, whereas the Pixel 5 has the Snapdragon 765G. Now, there's probably not going to be like a huge marginal difference between chip performance between both of them, but the modem is going to be a big play. Now, if the 732G has the Snapdragon X55 modem, it's going to connect to specific bands that the Pixel 5 won't be able to. The Snapdragon Snapdragon X52 modem. It was probably one of the biggest reasons why the homie Carlos was like upset with the Google Pixel 5. Not so much in the fact that the pricing and then what you were getting, cutting corners, not making it a supreme flagship phone. Hold on. But that's my kids are playing. But just because of the fact that it had an X52 modem, which means that I would only be able to connect to specific 5G bands, not be supported by a lot of them that's supported, like let's say with like the X60 modem, right? A lot of people like last year were like really waiting for the X60 to come out, and it was even rumored that it was going to be in the iPhone 12s, but sadly it didn't. But that was the one that people wanted to go for because just like sorry, I get distracted easily when my kids like run by and they yell. I'm listening to see like if they're playing or if something's wrong. If something's wrong, then I got to go run to them and find out what's going on. But they want it. Of course, the X60 is going to be able to do like you're going to be able to get faster speeds when it comes to 5G. So just put it in layman's terms like that. So a lot of this just really resembles just them, with the 5A being the 5. With minor differences, and that's where I see it. I mean, if it retains the $350 price tag, or even if it goes to like $400, okay, then that's that. You know what I mean? Because that's what the Pixel 3a came out. The Pixel 3a launched at $399, I believe. So it would go back to it's the pricing that the 3a was at if it reaches $399. But if it launches at $349, or even if they decide to launch it at $299, that would be insane. And probably a positive in this note that if you didn't get the Pixel 5 because it was super expensive, this would be the closest you would get to a Pixel 5. Sub $400, because the Pixel 4a 5G is basically the Pixel 5, just a larger version of it, but more adopting of the Pixel 4a body. When you talk about polycarbonate body design and all that other stuff, it was like a hybrid between the Pixel 4a and the Pixel 5. That's what the 4a 5G is. But it was still priced higher, $450 to $500, depending on what variant you got. There were some variants that were only sub 6 gigahertz compatible, and then there was other variants of the Pixel 4a 5G that was, millimeter wave compatible as well. So those are some of the things that, I just thought was quirky with the 4A series. But the 5A really is going to be reminiscent as far as design of the Pixel 5. The internal specification is going to be a little bit different. I didn't read anything on that article or see anything on that article about how much RAM it's going to have. But we do know that's going to be the 732 from Qualcomm. So the Snapdragon 732 is a chip that they're going to be using. Of course, a bit bigger because it's, I believe they said 6.2 is the display size. Now, if that's true, here's where the downer part comes in. The Pixel 4a 5G would be this phone. The Pixel 5a would be the Pixel 4a 5G, just a different processing chip, 732 versus a 765G. So which do you really go with? And if the 732 processing chip is using the Snapdragon X52 modem as well, then there's really no reason to upgrade to a 5a if you have the 4a 5G, because it's pretty much the same phone. So I got to follow this closely to see and learn what is going to set the Pixel 5a to be different from the 4a 5G that it pretty much replicates. Very similar to the Pixel 5, and it's supposed to be the budget option for 2021's Pixel release. Where do we go? Do we upgrade to it? Or is this going to be dead on arrival? Because that's the problem. More and more people are going to figure it out. Today's consumers are not idiots. Today's consumers are not that person that doesn't know how to power on a phone. Today's consumers know just about as much as YouTubers who talk about mobile tech do. You'd be surprised in live streams how people are just able to know things, and you're like, oh, you must really follow tech. They're like, no, I just know what I want on my phone. So you can't pull the wool over customers' eyes anymore like you could back in 2009 and 2010 and 2011. So people are going to notice if this phone, if the Pixel 5a is so reminiscent of the 4a 5G, people are going to look at the subtle small differences. And if this thing does not deliver something better, it's going to be crapped on really bad. Michael Smith says, makes me want to go back to my iPhone 12 Pro Max, even after a 14.3 jailbreak. Wow, okay. Ismail says Qualcomm's going to have to step it up so they don't lose market share. Well, I mean, Qualcomm still has Samsung, and Samsung has a very big market share. Yeah, I remember like a lot of people here in the US, they don't like the Exynos variants of Samsung Galaxy devices. So people here prefer Qualcomm. Plus, Exynos doesn't really like do very well when it comes to like the network buildup that we have here in the United States. Qualcomm seems to do better, which is the reason why like the international models and the Korean models, they all push Exynos as the chipset that they use. And then here in the US, the Galaxies use Qualcomm. So Qualcomm will be okay. My only biggest thing with Google making their own processing chip is that if they make it flop, because they have a tendency to do that. That's my only fear. Ray's in here. Ray says, very true. I was thinking the same thing. I love my 4A 5G so much. I can't see myself upgrading this phone unless they drop a Pixel 6 XL with Snapdragon 888 and a 256 gig storage with the X60 modem. Thing about that is that they won't go with the Snapdragon 888 because Google is releasing the Pixel 6 with their own chip this year. Whitechapel is confirmed, as well as the Pixel Fold is also confirmed, as Samsung pretty much confirmed that. So we won't see the Snapdragon 888 in a Pixel 6. But yeah, 256 internal storage. Yeah, I would like to see that. You know what I mean? Apple can do it. Google can do it too. And Google should be able to do it and still keep their prices low because they know how to cut corners effectively to make a phone lower price, i.e. Pixel 5. So yeah, my whole thing is that not my fear, but just my thing is that with this and what we're getting so far with the Pixel 5a, should people upgrade to it? The only time that I will tell anyone that they should give it a shot to upgrade to the Pixel 5a is if the Pixel 4a 5G is completely sold out and they're currently using a Pixel 2, a Pixel 2 XL, a Pixel 3, 3 XL, or 3A or 3A XL. If you are in the 3As and below, then a 5A upgrade budget model would be decent. If you want to go with the newest, but if you are like, I want to go in with decent performance and, you know, and stability, then I would say go for a 5G because it's still lowered price. It has a lot of the specs that the Pixel 5 has without, you know, you guys get my drift. Let's see. White Chapel sounds like the Spawn villain. Yeah. Yeah, bro. Later on, when you get time, look it up, man. And you'll see. You can also look up the Pixel Fold 2 as well. I'm gonna be talking more about that later on when I get a little bit more information researched. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much just my thoughts on the Pixel 5a. That's what I got right now so far. I just, you know, I advocate for Google Pixels, but I don't really see a reason for this. Like, unless it's wrong and it's like very dramatic, then I can like a dramatic difference. Then I can see like, okay, this. But, you know, for Google to just say we're going to put out a Pixel 5a just to put out a Pixel 5a because we have to have a 5a because we don't want the A series to be a forgotten thing. First of all, they should stop killing products and services, and then people wouldn't be thinking they're killing things all the time. But also, yeah, I don't know. Just make the best out of it. So anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully I was able to kind of just break it down, just like some of my thoughts about the Pixel 5a. Also, kind of bringing to light just how closely similar it is to the Pixel 4a 5G. And if it sells over $400, it's not worth it. It's just not, in my opinion. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to thank everyone who came in and actually watched the live stream. I know it's pretty late. It's like what, 10:37 p.m. my time right now. So I know it's pretty late on the East Coast. But thank you all for joining me. If you guys watch the replay all the way through, hashtag nerd up to level up. That way I know you guys watched it. And let me know what your guys' thoughts are with the Pixel 5a. You guys think that, you know, this needs to happen? Does Google need to keep the trend of the A series going just for sakes of the name being out there and not a forgotten product? Or do you think they should go back to the drawing board and kind of bring us something a little bit more? And would you be okay if it was $400 or more? Leave your interesting answers in the comment section of this live stream when it is fully available. But like I said, I want to thank everyone for being here. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate you guys. You enjoy the rest of your night. I'm gonna let you guys go because it is late. And yeah, I gotta go too. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, peace.